final 60.
Hey guys, button 25 here.
Top, H0 moins 1 minute.
Watching launch of Intelsat 39
Well, you heard
EDRS-C.
that, but the DDO called out 1 minute mark. Give us a chance to say hello to all of our friends at Intelsat in the US, Maxar in the US, Airbus Defence and Space, OHB, locally to the French Guiana sites, to our industrial partners, ESA and to all of you following on the internet. We hope you're enjoying it. We're going to cut away and let you listen to the DDO as he will call out the final seconds. Watch for the cryogenic arms to open. That sets the ball rolling. Enjoy the liftoff.
Going to be honest, I missed basically all of the pre-launched chatter because I was having dinner. So literally popped in T-minus 2 minutes.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final.
10 seconds to ignition.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1, top.
Allumage
Allumage du
Vulcan.
Vulcain.
Allumage AP.
Allumage des EAP et décollage.
There we go. There goes Ariane 5. Also, there's going to be another launch in between about 2 hours from now. A bit later, so
Paramètres bord sont normaux, la propulsion est nominale.
There's going to be a SpaceX launch of another telecom.
De la manœuvre en roue.
Yeah, this is the first daylight Ariane launch in a good while. Vehicle is transonic. You can see the you can see those shock.
Les paramètres bord sont nominaux.
I believe it's a technical term. Of course, I could be wrong. I'm not expert on
On
this thing.
time, Ariane 5 began her mission lifting off from the ground here in French Guiana with a lot of fire and with 2 new satellites rising into the bright blue sky. Wonderful pictures, trailing exhaust flames of gold. The 2 boosters providing 90% of our thrust right now, propelling the launcher along her trajectory
The core
at an ever higher velocity. 775 tons at liftoff, hard to believe. But to get that sort of mass off the ground, you need a lot of push. And push we have. Push you can see there. She's burning 5 tons of fuel every second. 2.5 tons are burning every second in each of the boosters. Plus, the core stage, the middle stage, burning another 300 kilos of fuel every second.
The core is cryogenic. It's
Ariane
like
5 is now following the program in the onboard computer, which gives all the orders, including stage separations. We're going to see those in just about 20 seconds. We're in the first of 4 flight phases as we pass to the animation. We'll be describing each in turn, so you can follow Ariane on her way east across the Atlantic. Right now, the first flight phase, as you can see on the animation, the single first stage engine and the 2 boosters are burning. The boosters burn just over 2 minutes.
La propulsion est nominale, la trajectoire est nominale, tous les paramètres bord sont normaux.
The DDO says everything
Séparation des EAP.
is perfect on board, and he's announced the separation of the boosters, and you can see
them
that.
falling away.
That's the
They're still
2 points
trailing
of
smoke
light on
because
the top
with
of the flames
SRBs,
of the
there's
2
still
boosters
just a
flaming
tiny
out.
bit of
The single
residual
point of light
coming out
below
at the
that
end.
is the lower stage, which continues to burn. Fine shots. We may even have shots of the fairing separation coming up in less than a minute. That'll make another 2 points of light in the bright blue sky. The single first stage engine is burning now.
That's all
Taken over from the boosters. The boosters will
La
fall.
propulsion est nominale, la trajectoire est nominale, tous les paramètres bord sont normaux.
DDO says everything is nominal on board. The boosters fall 500 kilometers from shore into a protected area. Look on your screen on the bottom, our altitude 104 kilometers, on the right our speed 2.27 kilometers per second. The speed we need to inject the satellites roughly 8 or 9 kilometers per second as we've separated the fairing. Actually 2 halves. There's another half on the starboard side of the vehicle, which is out of camera range. We can separate the fairing now because we're out of the dense layers of the atmosphere. Over 100 kilometers up, there's neither friction nor heating, which could disturb the passengers. We can also now discard any dead weight to maximize the launcher's performance, and the fairing weighs 2.5 tons.
La trajectoire est nominale, tous les paramètres bord sont normaux.
So we can get rid of it now. So all is fine on board, coming up on 4 minutes after a liftoff of the 7th Ariane flight of
That's
the
right,
year.
I think.
As we look at some of the Ariane space people, we're going to look at,
I don't know.
we'll see Charlotte Besco in a minute and Didier Freve from CNES and ESA.
Did he?
The European space effort is a three-way affair among Arianespace, the European Space Agency, ESA, and CNES, the French Space Agency. You find them all here, along with the customers. Arianespace in charge of operating the family of launchers and marketing the launch services and the Ariane program. ESA funding new programs. CNES overseeing coordination of all space-based operations. The Guyana Space Center is the world's only dedicated commercial space base where Arianespace operates a launcher family. That's Ariane 5 soon to be Ariane 6, Soyuz, and Vega, soon to be the updated Vega-C. A series of films coming up for you now on the customers. Up first, a look at Intelsat 39.
There we go.
Hello, I'm pleased to welcome this third Ariane 5 ECA launch of the year with on board 2 passengers. Intelsat 39 for the operator Intelsat and EDRS-C based on a public-private partnership between the European Space Agency and Airbus. Regarding in particular Intelsat 39 satellite, Arianespace is proud for having been selected by Intelsat to launch ICE-39, which will be the 61st Intelsat satellite launched by Arianespace. This high-power communications satellite, with a mass of 6.6 tons, was built by Maxar in Palo Alto and will replace Intelsat 902. It will be located exactly at 62 degrees east orbital position. I would like to thank all the teams that have been involved in this program. First, of course, our customer Intelsat, which always relied on Arianespace with a dedicated, very efficient teamwork all along the program. Constructive approaches and optimizations have always been shared and preferred between the project teams. This was really a key driver to conduct a smooth and efficient launch campaign. I wish a long life to ICE-39.
We are in the second powered flight phase. The single-engine core stage burning now. You can see that on the animation. Another 2 minutes to go, roughly, until it shuts down. In just 2 seconds, we will be picked up by our first downrange tracking station. That's over the border in Brazil, a place called Natal. The station run by the Brazilian Defense Department for the CNES in an agreement with ESA. It will see lower stage burnout and separation. All of Ariane's trajectory has been designed to be followed from ground course. Continuing our look at the passengers tonight, a first look at our second satellite, EDRS-C.
Welcome all to the European Spaceport for VA249 launch. As the Arianespace Program Director for EDRS-C, I am in charge of the customer interface and launch services mission preparation. And I have here the pleasure to present the satellite which will be launched in lower position of this flight. In July 2015, Airbus Defence and Space selected a European launcher for the launch of EDRS satellites. EDRS-C will be the second space segment of the European Data Relay System. It will enable ultra-fast transfer of data from low Earth orbit satellites down to Earth. EDRS-C also hosts HILAS-3, a communications payload for Aventi with flexible capacity over Africa and the Middle East. EDRS-C is the second satellite based on OHB small GEO platform, with the first one launched in 2017 by Arianespace. Over those 4 years, Arianespace and Airbus have built strong links of cooperation and coordination in the frame of the execution of the launch services contract. On behalf of Arianespace, I would like to sincerely thank our customer for their trust.
The Space Data Highway, you might have heard about it, a public-private partnership between ESA and Airbus Defence and Space, an optical fiber network in the sky, comprising 2 geostationary satellites. The first, EDRS-A, was already launched in 2016. EDRS-C, tonight's passenger, also hosting Aventi's HILAS-3 payload. More on that in a film later on. And there's a third EDRS satellite, EDRS-D. It's in the works for the Asia-Pacific region. We are coming up on cutoff of the lower stage. You see on the animation the nozzle shutting down, and there's the separation of the stage, and you'll see the nozzle on the upper stage light up there.
Préparation de l'EPC.
There we are, these three commands given by the onboard computer in about 13 seconds. The lower stage will fall into the Atlantic off the Gulf of Guinea. You remember our mass at liftoff, 775 tons. Well, we're down now after separation of the first stage and all the fuel gone. Total mass 30 tons. We're into the third and final powered flight phase, the single upper stage engine that'll burn until plus 25, 32 seconds, 16 minutes roughly in all. The job of the upper stage, it takes the satellites to their injection point, it positions them for separation, and then releases them. That is its
Which of course takes
propulsion
quite a
role,
long
but she
time
also
in
has a
Ariane
second
5.
role. And that comes during Ariane 5's
La trajectoire
ballistics
est
phase
nominale.
after
Tous
the
les
power
paramètres au bord
flight
sont
phase
Ballistic just
normaux.
means on
later
power, so
flight
they switch the engine off and
and
up, and they're
run
moving
that
fast enough that
coming up.
it doesn't
But
matter.
for now, another film on our first passenger, Intelsat 39. You'll be hearing from their CEO, Stefan Spengler.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us to watch the launch of Intelsat 39. Launching a new satellite is always an exciting time. It brings the promise of new opportunities to connect individuals, businesses, and communities using the latest advancements in satellite technology. It also reinforces the teamwork and technical innovation evident in our partnerships across the industry. Intelsat 39 will replace Intelsat 902 at 62 degrees east. This new satellite exemplifies the diversity of services that Intelsat's space-based platform and Intelsat 1 terrestrial network provides our customers around the world. Intelsat 39 is designed with both wide beam and high-powered steerable spot beams to meet the needs of broadband networking, video, and government customers across Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. The steerable spot beams provide flexibility within the payload and enable our customers to efficiently respond as their requirements shift over time. The satellite will feature C and Ku band capabilities to provide additional scale to our Intelsat Flex managed services. It will enhance mobile connectivity for aeronautical, maritime, enterprise, and government customers operating across these geographies. Intelsat 39 is a powerful platform that will enable our customers to expand their high-speed networks at a lower cost of ownership. It will provide governments and mobile operators with the infrastructure they need to reach remote areas across the region, supporting our mission to narrow the digital divide. The government of Myanmar will use Intelsat 39 to enhance its network and the networks of other mobile operators and media companies. Affordable 3G, 4G broadband, and internet connectivity will extend throughout the country. None of these benefits will be possible without dedicated partners who share our commitment to building a more connected world. On behalf of Intelsat's employees, I would like to thank our manufacturer Maxar and our launcher Ariane for their commitment to deliver a successful program for Intelsat. I'd also like to recognize the Intelsat team around the world for their work on Intelsat 39. Thanks to each of you for your technical expertise, dedication, and commitment to excellence. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. Finally, let me express my sincere appreciation to our customers for their continued trust in Intelsat. We value our partnership and look forward to advancing your strategic initiatives and continued growth. Now I'd like to wish us all a successful mission. Go Intelsat 39.
So
At the top of the broadcast, Louis Fabregat mentioning that Intelsat was an old friend. Our first mission with Intelsat back in 1983, that was on Flight 7, one of the promotional flights for the Ariane 1. And it weighed 1.8 tons. You compare that to 6.6 tons today.
Yeah,
As of June, Ariane has launched 60 satellites for Intelsat and signed 58 launch contracts with the operator. Our last Intelsat launch was last September. That was Azerspace Intelsat 38. It was flight 243, weighed 3.5 tons. Also, the 100th Ariane 5 mission. And one for Intelsat remaining in the order book. It's coming up in 2020, next year. Another look now for more on Intelsat 39, and this time it's prime contractor Maxar.
Le pilotage est calme, la propulsion est nominale, tous les paramètres bord sont normaux.
Intelsat 39, the satellite that we're launching today, is going to replace satellite Intelsat 902 that was built by Maxar and was launched here in French Guiana in 2001. And that satellite was contracted for a lifetime of 13 years, so we're coming up on 18 years, so it's giving us close to 50% more life than we contracted for, so we're happy with that. I've been involved with about 15 satellites. I've really got to know the teams here at Maxar and appreciate their professionalism and their technical know-how. I think Maxar is a world-class company. When it comes to building communication satellites, they are one of the best.
While you were watching that film, we were picked up by our next downrange tracking station. That's Ascension Island, a tiny island in the South Atlantic, 10 square kilometers. NASA had a station there until 1989 when they closed it. ESA, the European Space Agency, decided to build its own. This is the 65th Maxar satellite to be launched by Ariane Space and the 57th based on their 1300 platform. Our last Ariane launch, June 20th, orbited a Maxar satellite. That was Intelsat 7C. And there are currently 4 more Maxar satellites in Ariane Space's backlog for upcoming missions. Roughly 10 minutes to go in the upper stage burn. You may have heard that Europe is developing the successor to Ariane 5, Ariane 6.
Indeed.
More market-driven vehicle to meet customer needs and market changes, including electrical propulsion. Ariane 6 will, they tell us, have shorter and more streamlined launch campaigns. There are 8 Ariane 6s already in the Ariane Space backlog, first launch 2021. Another look at EDRS-C coming up.
There's already 8 people.
At Europe Spaceport in Kourou, the new EDRS-C satellite is undergoing final preparations before its launch. An Ariane 5 will lift the satellite into geostationary orbit, where it will join EDRS-A, which was launched in 2016 as a hosted payload on Intelsat 9B as part of the European Data Relay System. The European Data Relay System is a collaboration between ESA and Airbus Defence and Space, aiming to improve and accelerate data transmission from low Earth orbiting satellites to the ground. From their geostationary orbit, EDRS satellites can both see the low orbiting imaging satellite as well as the ground stations. Data from the imaging satellite is sent via a laser link to EDRS, which then transmits data via radio frequency to the ground stations. This process allows for longer and faster data transfers, creating the space data highway.
EDRS is called a space data highway because it's likened to an optical fiber in the sky. It's a highway through which data travels at enormous speeds. In the case of EDRS, at up to 1.8 gigabits per second. And if you compare this to a conventional internet connection at home, you can say that it's about 100 times the speed that you get with your internet connection when you surf at home. So that's a real highway for data in space.
The main features of EDRS are a high transfer rate achieved by the use of laser technology and a near-permanent availability, a result of the satellite's bird's-eye view from geostationary orbit. This results in a quasi-real-time availability of the data on the ground, a step forward from conventional systems that only allow data transfers for 10 out of every 90 minutes. EDRS is the first commercial system in the world to use optical communication between satellites. While the system has been jointly developed by ESA and Airbus, it is the latter who will operate the service.
The launch of today's EDRS-C satellite is a fantastic opportunity for enhancing our space data highway system. With Space Data Highway, Airbus is the first connectivity operator of laser communication services. Already today, Space Data Highway links all the 4 Copernicus satellites near real time to the Earth And it will allow, with the second satellite, to have near real-time data of 2 Earth observation satellites at the same time. A fantastic innovation. Also, it will be, of course, a backup of the first satellite in case we have a problem.
EDRS-C is the first dedicated EDRS satellite. It will provide additional capacity to the European data relay system, but also improve its robustness and further increase coverage. Once both nodes are fully operational, EDRS will be able to relay at least 50 terabytes of data every day. Today, ESA and Airbus are already working on a third node, EDRS-D, which will be positioned over the Asia-Pacific region and mark another step towards worldwide use of this breakthrough technology.
The ultimate goal will, of course, be to achieve global coverage so that we can transmit imagery that is taken anywhere in the world to Europe within quasi-real time, meaning almost immediately.
And there is a great future in using EDRS. With our new Pléiades NEO satellites, 30 centimeter resolution coming soon, from 2021 onwards, we will be providing you with more high-resolution, near real-time data for Earth observation applications, and I'm very proud of that.
With higher resolutions and better imaging techniques, the amount of data provided by low Earth orbiting satellites will only increase further in years to come. Therefore, both ESA and Airbus are convinced that optical communication in space is a key technology, allowing us to fully exploit these vast amounts of data. EDRS is the beginning of a new era in space-based telecommunications, and the launch of EDRS-C is another step towards the completion of the space data highway.
So EDRS adding lasers to space. Big improvement. That's the future. During the film, we were picked up by our next downrange station in Libreville, Gabon, on the west coast of Africa. It has been run by CNES for over 30 years and covered by an agreement between the European Space Agency and the Gabonese government. Tonight, a standard double launch to communication satellites, but throughout the long history of the Ariane family and Soyuz and Vega, Arianespace has launched for all types of missions and all types of orbits. On EDRS, a payload called Hylas-3, a short look now at its builder, Avanti. DDO continues to say that all is perfect on board, everything happening just the way it is planned to happen. Some numbers, right, some numbers. This is the 72nd launch of this version of the Ariane 5, the 312th mission performed by the Ariane family of launchers, and the 105th on Ariane 5. Intelsat 39 and EDRS-C are the 215th and 16th satellites to be launched by an Ariane 5, both for the lifetime of 15 years. Up next, a look at EDRS-C's prime contractor, OHB.
Acquisition de la télémesure lanceur par la station de Malindi au Kenya. Prenne la manœuvre en route. Il reste une minute de propulsion.
EDRS will be the 26th satellite launched by Arianespace based on an OHB platform. Currently 7 OHB satellites in Arianespace's backlog, 4 more in the Galileo fleet, the H2Sat, the Heinrich Hertz communication satellite for Germany, and 2 MTG, Meteosat third generation satellites for the EUMETSAT weather group. During that film, we were picked up by our last downrange tracking station in Malindi, Kenya. It will see upper stage burnout and satellite separation. About 15 seconds left to go until the extinction of the upper stage engine. I heard the DDO call out that milestone.
There we go.
We'll be out of the powered flight phases and into what they call the ballistics phase, or the coasting phase, or the free flight phase. You see the nozzle shutting down there. DDO will confirm cutoff of the upper stage engine occurring at about 670
Arrêt de
kilometers
l'ESC
altitude.
sur commande de guidage.
Our mass now down to 15.5 tons from 775. Ariane has reached her maximum speed, which you can see on the lower right, 9.3 kilometers per second. And you'll see her begin to slow down when she separates Intelsat 39 in about 3 minutes. Her speed will be 8.8 kilometers per second. When she releases the Silda, that's the carrying structure for the second passenger, at plus 31 minutes, she'll be flying at 8.59 kilometers per second. And when she separates EDRS-C at plus 33.31, plus 33.30, I think it should be, her speed will be down to 8.2 kilometers per second. With the power shut down, we're going to go to our next film and look at Intelsat's first maneuvers after separation. We'll be back with more.
Good evening. I'm Mohinder Guru, Senior Program Manager at Intelsat, and I'm pleased to be back in Kourou for my second launch campaign as the Spacecraft Mission Director within the space of 10 months, this time on Intelsat 39. After separation from the Ariane 5, our mission team at the Long Beach Control Center will take charge of the satellite and will start commanding. First deploying the solar arrays, followed by 4 apogee motor burns and deploying all appendages, and 7 days of electric orbit raising using xenon thrusters to position the satellite to its initial IoT longitude of 55.3 degrees east. After completion all bus testing and phase 1 of payload testing, Intelsat 39 will be maneuvered to its final operational longitude of 62 degrees east, where phase 2 of the payload testing will be performed with the goal of entering Intelsat 39 into service by October 2019. I would like to sincerely thank everyone at Arianespace, CSG, and Maxar Space Solutions involved in this endeavor. So go Intelsat 39.
We're a minute away from separation of Intelsat 39. There's a team there as we near confirmation of the DDO on separation of our upper passenger, due in about a minute. Intelsat, of course, going back a long way in the history of spaceflight, all the way back to Early Bird, if you recall, 1965, which was Intelsat 1, one of the world's first commercial communications satellites. So they've done this before. And yet it's always a moment of high concentration, no matter how much experience you have. The teams have gone through these procedures before many, many times, but it does call for tremendous focus. You don't want to use the word tense, but I guess focused, concentrated gives you an idea. All eyes on the computer screens, all ears on the phones, awaiting confirmation of our satellite separation Intelsat 39. Roughly about 10 seconds. That's Intelsat 39. On the right of the screen, below that is the black bell-shaped structure, is the Silda. That's the carrying structure.
There's the separation.
Holding the second separation. There's the scheduled separation. We're waiting for the DDO's confirmation.
Séparation du satellite Intelsat 39.
And there we are, the first good news, as the men from Intelsat are nodding and pleased. You see they're holding, very politely holding their applause, because the mission, of course, is not over yet. We still have to separate our final passenger, EDRS-C. Intelsat 39 separated with a transversal spin. We promised you to show another place where people are hard at work tonight. And we're going to go up there now. When choosing a space base, the Europeans wanted nearby hills where they could install radar and telemetry. And this is the CVI, called the Quick Look Telemetry Display Control Center. It's on a hill just behind us here in Jupiter. These teams have all the means for receiving and processing, storing and analyzing all the data coming in from the ground stations along Ariane's flight path. The downrange tracking stations follow the launcher, and right now these teams are following all the key flight data coming in by radar and telemetry to this post here. And they report the flight status, they report all that data on the launcher back to the teams here in Jupiter. And the announcements you hear made by the DDO come from the CVI. The information going to them first, and then relaying it here. Also to the flight desk, of course, and to the Launch Complex Operations Manager. All part of the great information flow from points across the space base back to Jupiter. Coming up on Silda separation. You'll see that. The Silda will be pushed away from the mothership, just like the satellites were. And there you are. There's the scheduled separation of the Silda.
Séparation du système de lancement double Ariane, le Silda.
And the DDO has confirmed it. Intelsat 39 signal will be acquired. The first signal will be acquired by its station in Australia. Going to another film on the Super Data Highway.
Let me now introduce to you the head of EDRS infrastructure at Airbus, Mr. Matthias Wiegand. Good afternoon, Matthias. Matthias, could you explain what is the main mission of EDRS?
Our launching customer is the European Commission's Copernicus Earth Observation Program. The data relay service to the Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2 satellites allow the delivery of large volumes of time-critical data to Earth monitoring centers within Europe in near real time. Before EDS, a process that would typically take several hours. EDS will be the second communication node, followed by a third satellite over the Asia-Pacific region by around 2024. Equipped with 3 laser terminals, EDS-D will again significantly increase the communication capacity and its coverage.
Thank you, Matthias. Let me now introduce to you the EDRS project manager at ESA, Mr. Michael Witting. Michael, since when has the EDRS service been available and how will EDRS-C contribute?
The commercial EDRS service has been available since November 2016 via EDRS-C's sister payload EDRS-A. By the end of 2019, the system will also provide a fully European broadband communication service to the Columbus module of the International Space Station. From 2021, the Pléiades Neo Earth observation satellites will begin to use the Space Data Highway.
Guess how much longer until
Coming up in less than 30 seconds on separation of our final passenger, EDRS-C, as we look at the teams. Again, a moment of high concentration for them. They've gone through all these procedures before, just like the Intelsat people did. But again, the waiting, same suspense, this time for the second passenger. Tonight, remember, we're representing years of work for many of these people.
There we go, EDRS separation, at least scheduled.
Séparation du satellite.
Yep, now it's confirmed.
Well, the final good news, as you can hear. The applause from the people here in Jupiter. Everybody happy. Ariane 5 delivered her second passenger, EDRS-C, out over the Indian Ocean. Handshake, smiles, cigars and champagne forthcoming. So from those very concentrated minutes, just moments ago, you can see the change here in Jupiter. Very buoyant, very happy. The hugs and the kisses all across the Space Center and at the points and posts where people are following the launcher and the satellite. Work will be just beginning there at the different ground stations.
Yeah, nearly collapsing.
For both Intelsat 39 and EDRS-C, and at the other sites around the world where the satellite's first maneuvers are being monitored.
Since that was launch of Intelsat 39,
Congratulations
all
all around.
Ariane 5.
EDRS-C separated
Goodbye.
by a longitudinal spin difference